The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Thursday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. Going to put their logo up in the top right-hand corner so you know where to go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. We're going to pop them up now. Head over to Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, and they go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same on this show every day. We thank Greenwood Chevrolet for their constant support of what we do on this show and what we do on the network every day. So once again, if you're in the market, make sure to check out Greenwood Chevrolet. Today we have a good show for you. We're going to recap the Class B action from last night. It was 18U night at the ballpark at Ysn, so we'll go through all the final scores that came through from the 18U division last night. And we also have a special guest today at 1:15, Connor Jurig from Howland, who won the state championship in the high jump for the Tigers last weekend. He's going to be coming on the show as well to talk about his state championship and what it felt like to not just win that gold medal, but also break the Howland school record with the jump, clearing the 6'9" mark. And his career going forward at Youngstown State. We're going to talk to him about that too. But before we get to all that, let's share the screen from Youngstown Class B's website and recap the Class B action from last night at Ysn Park. It was 18U night at the ballpark, and we'll start with the first final, which was Creekside and Dura Edge. This one tied at 11 at the end of it. I know no one likes to hear a tie, but hey, we're feeling a little bit European today. We're going to tie like football, I should say. Here's how it went down. Creekside was down 4-1, but then they scored 5 in the top of the second. Dura Edge answered with 2 spots. It was tied at 6, and then Dura Edge took another 2-run lead, another 5-run lead. And then Creekside said, hey, we'll match your 5 and score 5 more in the 6th. And then they could not score in the 7th, 8th, or 9th, and they ended in the tie 11-11. 11 runs on 11 hits, 1 error for Creekside. 11 runs on 12 hits, 1 error for Dura Edge. Big batters in the lineup for Creekside. 3 RBIs from Michael Condolian, who had the 3-for-5 day with 3 runs scored. 2 RBIs from Jake Patterson, 3-for-5 on the day. And also 2 RBIs from Owen Mandler, who went 2-for-4 with a run scored. Those were the only ones that had multiple hits, but also hits from Andrew Calley and Ryan DeLulo, who went 1-for-3 and 1-for-4, respectively. 2 runs scored by Ryan. And then for Creekside, their big bats were 2 RBI day from Parker Lyons, 2-for-2 with 3 runs scored, but a 4 RBI day from the Crestview Rebel, Ethan Fiesel, who went 2-for-4 with 4 RBI and a run scored. 2-for-4 day is also from Blake Jeffries, as he had 2 RBIs, a walk, and a run scored on his day. Both teams had to use a lot of pitching in this offensive show, which is why they eventually had to end in a tie, and they had to settle for that. And that's in a Creekside in the standings is right there, so we're gonna have to see a little bit later how that affects them. Well, in the second game, it's going to be Ballistic that took on Athletics, and it was a 7-3 Ballistics win for this game, and it was 7 runs on 8 hits, no errors for Ballistic Baseball. Athletics 3 runs, 9 hits, and 2 errors. Their 3 runs came in the third and fourth inning as they scored 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Ballistic 3 in the first, 3 in the third, 1 in the fifth for their 7 runs. Their big bats on the day: 2 RBI from Colin Crawford, who went 2 for 4 with a run scored. And then Gabe Rusnak, we've been seeing his name a lot lately this week. 2 for 3 day with 2 RBI as well for him. RBIs also from Brady Harmon and Josh Wolf, who both went with a hit, 1 for 3 for Brady and 1 for 2 for Josh. 3 runs scored for Josh and a walk as well. 2 walks drawn by Donovan Sullivan, also an RBI and a run scored for him. Pitching for Ballistic was Dylan McElhenney, and he went the whole game, gave up 3 earned runs on 9 hits, struck out 4 and walked 2. Aaron Romai took the loss for Athletics. 3 innings pitched for him, 3 strikeouts, 5 earned runs on 6 hits for Aaron Romai, the Jackson Milton Blue Jay. So once again, Ballistic gets the win 7-3 over the Athletics. We'll go to the next game from last night. And it was the Prospects taking care of Eagleware 10-0. And the big inning was the fourth with a 4-run spot there. 1 run in the first, 1 run in the second, 2 runs in the third, as well as 2 runs in the sixth. 10 runs on 10 hits and no errors for the Prospects. Big bats on the day from a 4 for 4 day from Gino Lazzari, who we know from Lakeview. He was perfect and played 4 for 4, 4 RBI, 3 runs scored. 3 RBI day as well from Jake Carfangla, who went 2 for 3 with 3 RBI. RBI from Ethan Patak, who went 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and RBI himself. Pitching for the Prospects was Alex Stowe from Lakeview, who had 5 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs scored, struck out 10, only walked 1. The two hits for Eagleware came from Aiden Bowser, who went 1 for 3, and then Willie Moore, who went 1 for 2. So 10-0 Prospects get the big dominating win over Eagleware last night in 18U action. We'll go into the fourth final of the day, and it was Whiting Roll-Offs. They got the 3-1 win over the Avalanche in a really competitive game for Whiting. It was 1 run apiece in the third, but then Whiting scoring a run in the fifth and the sixth to seal the victory. 2 RBI day for Nate Thomas, who was perfect at the plate, going 2 for 2. 3 for 4 day for Carson Holland, who has 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored as well. Pitching for Whiting was Zyler Friedman. 5 innings pitched, gave up no earned runs, 1 run total, 4 hits, struck out 4, walked 2. And Mitch Lang also pitched an inning, gave up 1 hit, struck out 1, walked 2. For Avalanche, still pitching well, but taking the loss was Jacob Maddox. 5 innings pitched for him, 2 earned runs, 6 hits, struck out 5, walked 4. We saw hits from Nolan Reichard and Bennett Haynes, both going 1 for 3. The run that Avalanche scored was not an RBI, so no RBIs on the day for the Avalanche offense. Pitching well, it was a pitcher's duel, and Whiting gets to win 3-1. Final game of the night, the nightcap, was the Astro Falcons and Nightline, and the Astro Falcons continued their dominant ways, winning 11-5 in this game. Big bats for the Falcons. 2 RBIs from Antonio Cordero, who went 1 for 3 with a walk and 2 runs scored. 3 RBI day from Justin Weaver, 1 for 4 for him. Also an RBI from Ben Slinker and Jay Rona, 1 for 3 for both of them with a run scored. 2 walks apiece from Zach Erb and Aiden Zorn. So they drew 2 walks on a base with 1 RBI apiece for both of them. Ryan Apoliski with the win for the Falcons. 4 in the third innings pitch. Gave up just 1 hit, 2 earned runs, struck out 9, walked 7. And Colton Rohr came in and pitched an inning and 2/3. Gave up 3 earned runs, 2 hits, 1 strikeout, 2 walks. Nightline for them, 2 RBIs from Andrew Brown, 1 for 2 with a run scored and a walk. And then an RBI as well from Tyler Caffin, who went 1 for 1 with 2 walks and an RBI for Nightline. So a big win for the Astro Falcons, and that'll do it for the final scores from last night in Class B. We'll come back a little bit later and check out the standings as they stand for the 18U division after last night's finals. But before that, we have Connor Durig coming on from Howland and a state champion. Connor, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, bud.
Yep, thank you for having me on here.
You got it. And obviously you're a state champion. So my first question is, how does it feel? How long did it take to kind of settle in that you are a state champion? And how have you been celebrating the last week or so?
It feels pretty amazing. This has just been my goal for such a long time, and I still can't believe it. But I've just been getting a lot of texts, a lot of compliments from people saying congratulations and stuff like that. So I really appreciate that.
One of the things that I love about track and field is you work so hard, you set that goal as a state champion, and it all comes down to really like one event, which on a good day maybe takes, maybe a half an hour or whatever. But, it's not like, your other sports where you're down to, a whole game to decide a state champion. It's just you've worked so hard, you get to one event, and it's that day, and that's all you get. What was it like the day of your state championship meet, and what were some of the things that were going through your head before you started competing?
Well, I actually wasn't too nervous about the meet. I was more nervous about making it back to the state meet. So once I got there, I was okay with everything. I was pretty calm, wasn't really stressed. I was just excited to go out there and jump against some good competition.
You definitely had to go through some adversity. I mean, you clear a couple of levels, and then all of a sudden there's a lightning delay. So you have to go back to the team van, and then you come back, and there's another lightning delay. So 2 lightning delays in the middle of your event. What was that like to try to keep momentum? Because you were rolling, you were clearing all these levels. What was it like to kind of have to stop and then go back to the van for wait another lightning delay and then have to get back to it?
It was a little bit stressful, but it wasn't too bad for me. I just tried to keep my composure and just go out there and jump like I normally do. But when I was talking to some of the other guys, they were saying how good they were feeling before the delays and how that messed them up a little bit. But I tried to not let it bother me. So I just went out there and jumped.
Is that something that you've ever done? Like, have you dealt with lightning delays in the middle of a really good meet before where you'd had to try to keep momentum?
No, that was the first time I've had that.
So what were some of the things that you did? Like you said, you kept yourself in the right mindset. Was it like just silence? Did you try to make things lighthearted by making jokes and stuff? What were some of the things that you did to keep yourself in that right mindset before you went back out there?
I always I like talking to people when I'm at track meets, especially high jumping. And when we were in the team van, I just had time to talk to my other teammates that were there, my friends that were with me, my coaches. So I just kind of kept my mind off everything and kept me relaxed.
So you steadily keep clearing these levels and you keep getting closer and closer. What was it like to keep, having those levels cleared? Like what was going through your mind when you clear 6-7 and you clear 6-6 and you start to realize that a state championship is in your grasp?
Well, on 6-6, that was my the first jumps that I had when we came back from the delays. So I had a miss on my first attempt, which I was like, all right, that's fine. In my second attempt, I was a good 4 inches over the bar, and then my arm came around and hit the standard and knocked it off. So I was stressing after that. I was pretty nervous because I only had one jump left, and if I missed, that would have been the end. It would have been over. So after I cleared 6.6, I felt so much relief, and I was like, I think I have a pretty good chance now. I just gotta stay focused, stay relaxed. Then I went out there, got 6.7 first attempt, 6.8 first attempt, and the 6.8 jump was what got me the win.
Yeah, the 6.8 jump, really, you had it. You had the tiebreaker, but you still cleared 6.9. You didn't need it, but you got it. What was that like to have one last jump where it's almost like no pressure? You're just trying to get it to get it to kind of better your record, but it was kind of no pressure to get it because you already had the tiebreakers. Even if you didn't get 6.9, you would have won a state championship.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It was just me and one other guy left at 6.9, and he was jumping before me. We both had our first misses, both had our second misses. So he was on his third attempt. If he would have got that, then I would have had to clear it. But since he didn't, I won there. And then I just had my one attempt left, zero pressure. There was nothing on me. My friends got a clap going on the side. I had a huge support group, and that really helped me get over the bar. And I set the school record with that jump too.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about. Not only did you win the state championship, but you also pinned your name in the Howland record book. For someone that has put so much work into that program, representing Howland, what did it mean to break, not just get the state championship, but also break the school record?
That meant a lot to me. That's been my goal ever since I started high jumping in high school, to break that record. And actually, the dude Leonard Simmons, who had our school record before me of 6.8, he texted me on Instagram the morning after and congratulated me, and he posted about it and told me good job and stuff. So I thought that was really neat of him, and I really enjoyed that, I really liked him for doing that for me.
So much work goes into a state championship. Can you put into words kind of how hard you worked to get it and what the last 4 years of the hard work at Howland had been like for you?
Yeah, well, this year specifically was pretty interesting, but throughout all my years of high jump, I've gained 6 inches every single year. I've gone 6 inches higher each year, except for this year, only 1 inch, but that's fine. But this year, we really didn't have a track to practice on because they were resurfacing it, so it was just concrete. So at the beginning of the season, I was jumping in just training shoes on concrete, and it just wasn't working out very good. So eventually, we got the high jump pit moved over to the football field, and I was able to jump on the turf with my spikes for the majority of the season. So that was pretty good. It was something to jump on, wear my spikes, and practice in. And then after districts, our track was finally like usable. So I got about a week and a half of actual practicing with high jump before the state meet. So I'm happy I could have that.
I'm sure you're not the only member of the track and field team that struggled with that, change of not having a track this season. How do you think your teammates and the rest of the Howland track program dealt with that adversity of, hey, we really don't have a track to practice on this year?
We were all definitely a little bothered by that, a little annoyed, but we just tried to. I don't really know, man. We just would be doing workouts on the turf on the football field, just doing laps, doing sprints, all sorts of stuff like that. So I don't know. We just tried to make the most of it, have a good time, and enjoy ourselves while we had it.
You brought up every year of your high school career, you leveled up the bar the next year. So you've leveled up 6.66, and then, like you said, you raised your bar 1 inch this year. So you've improved every year. To do that, I'm sure you have to have a drive that kind of gets you through the workouts and the off season and the work that has to go into that. What is your drive? What kind of gets you driven to keep working and keep upping that bar for yourself?
For me, I think it's just that I know that I can always do better, and that just like what I get, like it almost isn't enough. Like I know I got 6.9, but I know I can still do more, and hopefully get over 7 foot in the next couple years in college. That would be really cool. That's something I want to achieve.
We do have to talk about your college, your future, because you
Yeah.
were a senior at Howland, so you have finished your career as a Tiger. For people that don't know, where have you decided to continue your track and field career?
Youngstown State University.
There it is, repping it already. What
Mhm.
was it about YSU that kind of made you land there and made you decide that that's where you wanted to be and that's where you wanted to go to continue your track and field career?
Well, I know they have a great program and some great coaches, and I've got to know the high jump coach pretty well over the last year. So I think I'm going to bond with him really well. I also know some other people that are already on the track team, so that definitely helps with getting to know people. And I think I'm going to have a fun time and get to know everybody really well. And I also, when I was looking at colleges, I wanted to stay closer to my home, which I am still going to be staying at my house, which is really nice, and it reduced the cost a lot. So that was a bonus.
When you were kind of being recruited or you were kind of looking at colleges, obviously there were other things that went into factor as far as, your career path that you wanted to go into after track and things like that. What was it about YSU's education system that made you want to go into their university as well?
Well, for me, I'm not really sure what I want to do yet in college, what I want to study. So I'm going to go in undecided, but I know they have some really good programs, and I'm sure I'm going to find my way through there and get to do some good classes.
All right, you might be undecided, but I'm sure you have kind of a broad idea, right? So, like maybe three or four things that you're thinking of or mulling over, or at least things that interest you. What are some of those things that come to mind when you think like this is where I could land, or maybe this is where I could find myself in a career for the next 10 years?
My favorite thing is definitely like filming and video editing and things like that. That's kind of what I want to do with my life, but I'm not exactly sure which path to take for that.
When you signed on the dotted line to become a YSU student, you made that commitment and you kind of had the reality of being a college track and field athlete. What was that moment like for you to know that you're not done after high school and you still have more track and field to compete in, and your career is going to continue?
That makes me really happy, especially because once you come to the end of high school, if you're not doing any sports after, it's like, man, this is the end. Like, no more sports. This is it. But for me, I'm a little sad about it. I'm gonna miss, definitely gonna miss the high school sports and all my teammates and everything like that. But definitely like took the pressure off of being like this is my last ever track meet or something like that. So I'm excited to continue in college.
What makes you the most nervous about being a college athlete and being at the next level?
Probably the competition. How it's going to be much higher than high school. It's going to be like more like the state meets, like just every single meet. So I'm really gonna enjoy that though. I like the competition. I always jump better with more competition.
You spent 4 years representing Howland. What was it about that school system and the community that made you so proud to put on those colors and represent Howland every time you went out there?
Oh, well, I just have such a great community. Like for example, at the state meet, all 12 of my friends they all came down to Columbus to support me. I had a whole bunch of family people from my school, like everybody would just text me after the meet, congratulations and good job. So that really meant a lot to me. And just all throughout the season, just being able to talk to my teammates and just getting to know everyone and have a great time. I really appreciate everybody that I have in my community.
When you go to a meet and you look into the stands, who are some of the first people you're trying to find to see where they are supporting you? And they're like the first people that are going to be there, and you have to see to feel their support.
Always my parents and my family. I always look for them first, and my friends and just my other friends' parents that I talk to sometimes. Those are the people that I look for first.
You've talked about getting to know other people around the track family and obviously bonding with people already that are on the YSU track and field team. Talk about the community of track and field and how much you build relationships with not just your teammates at Howland, but runners across the state, runners across the area, and how much that has kind of molded the friendships that you were able to make.
Hmm. This is definitely my favorite part of track and field. It's just like so easy to make friends, and especially like in your specific event, when it seems like when you're like really good at your event and you're talking to the other people that are really good at their event, you just get to know each other really well, and you just get to bond and talk and make friends. And not even just high jump for me, but in the 400, I've met some amazing people and had some great friendships out of just meeting people from the meets.
When we talk to teams, we ask them what their biggest rival is, and obviously Howland has some big rivals as far as their team sports go. But for you in the high jump, who have been some big rivals for you throughout your high school career? People that that like, if you're going up against this person, and whether it be a district meet or a conference meet or whatever it may be, you're gonna have to put yourself to find yourself with the gold medal and the top of that podium.
I don't know. It just seems to be different every year, but I don't know. Just everybody, really. Just everybody's the competition. I don't really know. There's not any specific rival, really.
Let's talk about being a student in Howland, and obviously, I always like to ask the student athletes about teachers in the school system that have impacted their journey. Are there any teachers in Howland that you think really impacted your academic career at the high school?
My one teacher, Mr. Komoric, he was my chemistry teacher. He was probably my favorite teacher that I had. I just really enjoyed his class. He would talk about track with me sometimes. He made the chemistry class enjoyable. Like chemistry, usually it's not supposed to be fun, but he made the class really fun, and I really appreciate him for everything he's done for me.
My last question for you is, as you reflect on your whole career at Howland, whether it be your school career or your athletics career, what are you going to miss the most about that school system and that community and being a part of it?
Like I've said many times already, all the friendships that I've built and that I've made. But I'll be staying around here. I want to go back and watch some meets, go to some basketball games, stuff like that, watch all my teammates play. So I'll still be around here to watch them.
All right, Connor, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system and give a shout out to all the people that have your back and the people that you wouldn't be where you are without.
Well, I definitely want to give a big thanks to all my coaches, especially Coach Liebert, my high jump coach, just for working with me all throughout high school and cross country too. But we were always trying to just find the little details that can make me jump a little bit higher. And I really appreciate him for that. I want to give a thanks to my parents too and my family. All my family from Arizona and New Mexico, they actually came down here. They watched me at the state meet. So there's a lot of support behind me. My dad always takes videos so I can watch them later. I appreciate that. And obviously all my friends and the community that I have behind me.
Family from Arizona and New Mexico.
Yeah.
That is commitment to come down and see you.
Uh-huh.
They're going to have to keep doing it because you're staying local at YSU or you're going to be a Penguin. Connor, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and talking about your state championship moment. Know that everybody at YSN so proud that you brought a state championship home, and we wish you the best of luck at YSU, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks again for having me on here.
You got it, bud. Connor Druig from Howland joining us to talk about his state championship moment at Howland and the high jump, clearing the 6'9" mark to win a state championship in Columbus. What a great athlete. And I wanted to bring him on because of the wackiness of his run, having cleared a couple of levels and then having to have a lightning delay and then coming back and then having a second lightning delay and still keeping that momentum. I know high jump is one that you have to kind of, it's nice to have that constant momentum because you have to clear the next jump, and to do that consistently, it's got to be really important. I'm guessing for that event. Obviously, I'm not winning many high jumps, but I would assume that consistent momentum and the adrenaline is important for clearing the next level. So to have to stop and restart twice, I imagine is pretty hard. He cleared it off like it was nothing, but I imagine it was probably, it couldn't have been easy to clear, I think, 6'5", and then come back and have to clear 6'6", and then clear 6'7", cleared 6'8", and then obviously cleared 6'9" as well. Already had the state championship locked once the kid behind him missed the 6'9" mark, but he wanted to break the school record, and he went and did it. So state championship, school record for Connor Druig, and that is an awesome moment that I'll always remember. And if you're a track and field fan and you like watching Connor, he's not going to be far for the rest of his career. He's going to be down at YSU doing his thing as a Penguin. We've seen a lot of great local athletes have great careers at YSU, and the one that really comes to mind is Chad Zallo, of course, Orange JFK alum that went on to do a lot of really awesome things at YSU nationally. One of the best runners in the country, one of the best college runners in the country during his career. So that's going to be fun to watch Connor continue his career at YSU. We're going to take a break, our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more Class B baseball, wrap up the standings from 18U after last night, and talk about the games that are going on tonight at Bobstein Park, and then a little bit more on Running Point, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll see you in a minute.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
You're looking to your future, preparing for your goals, and they're closer than you think. Because here, success is part of the plan. It's a place where academic and social opportunities are meant to prepare you for life, not just the next 4 years. You'll be equipped to face new challenges and turn hard work into a career. You're ready for your success to take root. And here's where it starts. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Clem.
Hi, this is Steve Rossetto. Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers.
Jimmy Sudman here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin in town. Going to put them back in the top right corner so you know where to go if you are in the market for a new or used vehicle. Hold on, I lost my cursor for a minute, but if you are in the market for a new used vehicle, make sure to check out Greenwood Chevrolet. They go the extra mile for you, and we try to do the same here on this show every single day. I want to thank Connor Druig for joining us. If you missed his interview before the break or caught a part of it and want to see it in its entirety, there are a couple ways you can do it. One, and very soon it will be put up on the site as its own piece of content with a little story attached to it. So you can definitely go and watch that when it pops up on the website. But also, this episode of Running Point, every episode of Running Point, every episode of all of our shows, whether they be the 440 morning show with Sam Torres or the Power Hour with DJ that comes on about an hour after we go off the air at 3 to 4 every day, any of those episodes are archived on our YouTube page as well. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can just head over to our channel and the backlog live videos, and you can see any episode of any of our shows. So if you missed any of Connor's interview, multiple ways you'll be able to watch it. Once again, it'll be up on YouTube very soon as its own piece of content. And then obviously you can also watch this episode in its entirety back on YouTube. If you're on our YouTube channel, hi. If you would mind, if you aren't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. We love our subscribers, and it's a great way to keep an updated kind of an updated look on everything that we put up on our YouTube page. While you hit that subscribe button, also right next to it, hit that notification bell. The YouTube algorithm is kind of wonky. Sometimes you miss some of the video stuff that we put, and we try to put stuff up on our YouTube page every single day, whether that be player interviews, coaches' corners, games, live shows, highlights, whatever it may be. We put a lot of video content up on that channel, so you don't want to miss a minute of it. So if you're subscribed, make sure to also hit that notification bell so you never miss a minute of the stuff that we put up on ysnlive.com on our YouTube page. That being said, what we're going to do is we're going to get back into Class B talk real quick because we could not look at the standings before Connor's interview. So let's pop back into the Class B website here. Going to share the screen. And let's look at the standings for the 18U division that had their games last night. So after the finals came in, it is the Astro Falcons still out in front, still undefeated. 8-0 is their record. They are ahead of Whiting, who is 7-2 on the year. Ballistics got the win last night as well, so they're both 7-2, right on the heels of the Falcons, just a game and a half back each. Athletics 5-4, and then Nightline is 4-4. Creekside 3-5, Avalanche 3-6, Prospects 3-6, Dura Edge 2-6, and then Eagleware rounding out the standings of the 18U division at 1-8. Very interesting. You know, all three of those top three teams got a win last night: Ballistic, Whiting, and the Falcons. So they're still jockeying for position. I'm trying to, see who's going to separate themselves and really give the Astro Falcons that run down the stretch. Remember, Whiting had a really good 16U team last year, so we're not necessarily surprised that their 18U team is in second place right now with a 7-2 record, trying to give the Falcons as much push as they can. So as this summer goes on and we get closer and closer to the Class B playoffs, going to be interesting to see which team really, makes that stride. I think at this point, I don't see the Astro Falcons losing more than 4 games. So I think it's the 3-team race already. I think it's going to be the Astro Falcons, Whiting, and Ballistic. Athletics might be able to make a little bit of a run at it, but you're 3.5 games back and you already have 4 losses. I don't know. I don't think we've seen the Astro Falcons lose 4 times in a season yet in our coverage of Class B baseball. So they're going to be on the heels, Whiting and Ballistic both in it, and they're going to have, their chances to try to beat Astro Falcons in their schedule. So we'll have to keep an eye on that for sure. It is 16U night tonight at Ysn Park. So let's go over their standings and schedule. So we go into 16U, and first we'll look at the game schedule for today, Thursday, June 8th, and it looks like this: 5 games on tap. And on scene 3 at 5:30, it's going to be Whiting versus Ballistic. Then the Avalanche take on Athletics on scene 1 at 6. Astro Falcons and Creekside will be at scene 3 as the second game down there at scene 3. 8 o'clock is your first pitch. It's a rivalry. It's definitely one, and it's going to be one that's really important in the standings. We'll take a look at those standings in a minute. But Astro Falcons versus Creekside in the 16U, going to be a big one tonight on scene 3. Dura Edge takes on the Prospects at scene 2 at 8:15, and then at 8:30 on scene 1, it is going to be the nightcap with Eagleware versus Nightline at 8:30. So we look at the standings and we see why this Creekside versus Astro Falcons game is so important. 1 versus 2, and they're both tied at 7-2. So it's a first place game at scene 3 tonight between the Falcons and Creekside. Winner takes hold of first place in the 16U division. And then, of course, the Avalanche right behind them at a 6-3 record. Whiting 5-4, Prospects 5-4. So there's a lot of traffic in the top 5 teams, especially And then Athletics down there at 4-5. They're tied with Dura Edge at 4-5. Even those teams are only 3 games back. And with the Astro Falcons already showing a couple of chinks in their armor, not as a lost cause down there as it seems like in the 18U division. So very, very interesting standings here in the 16U, as you see a lot of traffic between 1 and 5. And then you could also argue that Athletics has a chance to knock on the door as well. And if they have a chance to knock on the door, so does Dura Edge, tied at 4-5 with them. Nightline 3-6. And then you have Ballistic and Eagleware both down there at 2-7. This will be the second week of Class B baseball, by the way, as we go back to the game schedule. And of course, the weekend is when a lot of these, when a lot of games happen. For example, Saturday in the 16U, you look, there's going to be 5, but I believe 18U will be in action on Saturday as well. So busy weekends in Class B baseball. We're going to see a lot of moving and shaking up when we come back on Monday for Running Point, after tomorrow's episode, of course. But those are the standings. Once again, the games tonight are going to be right there as listed. Whiting versus Ballistic, Avalanche versus Athletics, Astro Falcons versus Creekside, Dura Edge versus Prospects, and Eagleware versus Nightline. Let's take a look at the games at a glance, the spreadsheet real quick, and get you to what announcers are going to be down there at Scene tonight. Let's see. Thursday, June 8th. It looks like Noah Ricks is going to be on Scene 3, so he'll have that big matchup at 8 o'clock between the Astro Falcons and Creekside. We'll have Michael McKenzie. He'll be on Scene 1 tonight for Avalanche versus Athletics and Nightline and Eagleware. And then the last announcer up today is the 8:15 game, which will be Matt Marr. And Scene 2, he'll be taking care of Dura Edge and Prospects. So those are your announcers tonight. Noah Ricks, Mike McKenzie, and Matt Marr will all be on hand for tonight's action down there at Scene. There are 14U games at Springfield and Boardman, by the way. Let's go look at 14U. Let's go look at their standings and where they sit. Obviously, we don't want to leave those guys out, so let's go look at 14U real quick. First, we'll go look at the standings. And it is, shocker, the Astro Falcons at the top. 11-2 is their mark, but they are right on the heels of the Avalanche, 10-3, nipping at their heels. Whiting 9-3. You have the Eagleware at 8-5. Prospects 7-6. Ballistic 5-7, and then rounding out the standings are Athletics with a 3-10 record, A to Z 2-10, and then Nightline is 1-10. We look at their game schedule and see what they're doing tonight. 2 games on tap, both at Boardman and Springfield. We'll have Athletics versus Avalanche at Boardman at 5:30, and then at Springfield at 5:30. It's going to be Eagleware versus Whiting. Yesterday, let's look at 14U scores that came in yesterday. There are no scores, but Avalanche played Ballistic and A to Z played Nightline, both at Scene 2 in Springfield. And then they'll also have games tonight, so 2 games tonight as well from the 14U division at Boardman and Springfield. That's what it looks like if you want to go down there and support the 14U Class B baseball. Once again, Boardman and Springfield are your 2 locations tonight, and it will be Athletics versus Avalanche at Boardman, and then Eagleware versus Whiting at Springfield. Both games start at 5:30. So that does it for a recap of Class B. Obviously, we'll talk more about that tomorrow. One of the things that we're also going to have tomorrow is some soccer interviews that we're going to be recording tonight. I want to get to this message that was sent to us very kindly to get the information on this team that we're going to be interviewing. I guess a couple of players at least that we're going to be interviewing tonight. Very impressive soccer in the area. And it's a 15U Soccer Vision Academy team that features a lot of local players that are going to nationals in Colorado next month. Standout varsity players from Lakeview, as well as, let's see, the teams that are going to be there. Lakeview, there's someone from Champion, Lakeview, Howland, Fitch, Niles, Ursuline, Hubbard, Mooney, United, Poland, Boardman, Champion again, Niles, Lakeview, and United. So a lot of local athletes and a local talent on this national, on this travel team that is going to the National Cup Finals in Colorado next month. And they will also compete against teams from Hawaii, Florida, Texas, Washington, and a lot of other states. So we will talk to a couple of members of that team, including the head coach, Greg Mitchell. He'll be the interview that we'll feature on tomorrow's website. I can take Class B off. So Greg Mitchell will have his interview played for you tomorrow, and then we're also going to get a couple of his players behind him that we'll be able to feature next week as well, as we wish a lot of our local soccer athletes the best of luck at that 15U team that is heading to nationals in Colorado next month. And that'll start tomorrow when we play the interview with Greg Mitchell, their head coach. So very much looking forward to that. We'll be doing the interviews tonight, and we'll play them on tomorrow's show. We'll play one of them on tomorrow's show, I should say. We'll spread them out a little bit and try to give them as much kind of widespread coverage as they get ready for nationals in Colorado coming up. We're going to sign off a little early today because I think that runs out of things that I have on tap to talk about. And that's going to be the end of today's episode of Running Point. We'll be back tomorrow, like I said, from 1 to 2 with soccer interview with Greg Mitchell from the from that national team that's going to nationals in Colorado. I should say 15U team, I should say, that is going to nationals in Colorado, featuring a lot of local athletes. So we're excited for that. Tomorrow we'll also, of course, recap the 16U action of Class B baseball that goes on tonight. Reminder that all those games can be found on ysnlive.com/live. Live broadcast, all free, all from Scene Park. Noah Ricks, Mike McKenzie, Matt Marr, all going to be on the call tonight for Class B baseball. We'll be back tomorrow, talk about the results, get an updated look at the standings, and see where we stand in Class B baseball. And we'll also talk some local travel soccer with Greg Mitchell tomorrow as well. Until then, I'm Anthony Hartwig. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running Point.